All right. It's Ask the Experts time, and I am Jeff.
And I'm Lakeisha Hines.
Yes, we're going to get started today. What I need you guys to do, first of all, is start asking questions. Let's get those questions in today. We're going to answer your questions about love, relationships, marriage, and all kinds of things. What I need you to do also is look down below, like, share, subscribe. We want to try to get as many people as the help that they need. Everybody knows someone who's going through it right now. Unfortunately, we live in a country where, almost out of every other person is going through some kind of divorce or some kind of crisis in their marriage. Some survive it, some don't. We're here to help keep those things together. What I want to do to get you guys going, though, before we get started, while you guys are asking your questions, is I want to go on and remind you that we have Last Chance Weekend coming up.
Yes.
And that is going to be right before Valentine's Day, which makes it extremely special. So, what better gift to give your relationship and your family and your children by fixing what's going on in your lives over a 3-day weekend so you can celebrate Valentine's Day in a real special way. If you've been going through cold Valentine's Day where there's just a quick exchange of gifts and it's almost begrudgingly, let's turn that into a fire and a flame that starts that this Valentine's Day, 2022, this Valentine's Day is going to be one that you will never forget because this is where you reignited the flame in your marriage. So here, I'm going to just show you guys the commercial for that real quick. Last Chance Weekend, February 11th through the 13th. All right, so we're back. I don't have any questions, but I do see a few little acknowledgments. Do you want to give some acknowledgments?
I do. What's up, Nina from Detroit? Hey, Ralph. Wooster, Ohio. We need to go there, Jeff. We need to go to Wooster, Ohio, just because the city sounds cool. Hey, Derek, T. Washington, JJ, Rick, Vashawn, and Shalise. I remember you from the other night. Thanks for joining all of you. Hey, Gilberto.
What's going on, Gilberto?
What up, fam?
Shalise says, Jeff, I trust and appreciate your presence on here. Thank you so much, Shalise.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Got some questions coming in. That's what I've been waiting for.
We do. But, Jeff, I wanted to say something. You were talking about how Last Chance Weekend is coming up and it's going to be like around that Valentine's Day time. And we've had a lot of couples that have already had maybe trips planned for Valentine's Day. But there have been couples who literally have canceled their trips that they previously planned. and came to Last Chance Weekend because they understand that they need something more.
That's it.
A
It's like,
weekend getaway's not gonna fix it.
no, and if you know that like one thing can set the whole thing on the whole trip on fire,
Right.
why go there when you can come here or do both?
Right?
Do both. Take a couple of days, come down, hang out with us, fix your marriage, go through the excruciating process of getting rid of all the pain and rebuilding back, and then go celebrate for a
And
couple
then
more
go
days.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lord is a hop, skipping, and jumping away. They can come down and hang out with you, Lakeisha.
Right.
We're going to
Right.
Lakeisha's house for a party, y'all.
For real. Look, it's hot where I live, so it's 80 degrees right now.
All right. We do have some questions right here. Ralph Welsh. How is it that some people are never able to find a happy place since their childhood was so destructive to them that they have never known one? Okay, this is a really, really serious question.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit. Can I go deep, Keisha?
I mean, I think you can. I think we have time.
So, all of us are seeking one thing in this world. 7 billion people on the planet, and everybody can agree only on one thing. All of us want to be happy. We don't want happiness for one moment. We want happiness for the next minute. We want happiness that's infinite and eternal. You want to be happy in the morning. You want to be happy in the afternoon. You want to be happy in the night. You want to be happy when you sleep. You want to be happy when you go to work, when you're happy when you go home. Now, all of us are looking for this one thing. You think if 7 billion people on the planet were looking for the same exact thing, wow. We should be able to find it, right? What if I told you we're looking in the wrong place? Right? So this contemplation of happiness creates attachments to the things that we think are going to bring that happiness. We look for happiness in experiences, objects, situations, and circumstances. That's where we've been looking for happiness. Okay. All of those things are outside of us. I heard this one story about an old woman who was crocheting, and she lost her needle, and she was out in her front yard looking for the needle. And the whole town saw her, and they were helpful people. So they decided to come over and help her look for this needle. After about 35, 45 minutes or so, looking for the needle, one of the gentlemen said, "Hey, listen, like, can you tell me the story of how you lost your needle?" And the lady said, "I was sitting down in my house crocheting, and the phone rang, and I stood up, and the needle must have fallen away." And the man simply stopped and asked her, "So why are we looking for the needle on the outside of your house?" Okay. The point of the story, they went inside, they found the needle sitting right by the chair where she stood up. Most of us are looking for happiness in these outside things. Mm-hmm. And if the nature of these things where we were looking for happiness was actual happiness, we'd find it, and that would be it. But Keisha, what's the nature of sugar? What is the nature of sugar?
What? I don't know.
What is the essence of sugar? What do we like sugar for? Why do we like sugar?
Because it's sweet.
Okay.
So I thought you were asking me for like, what is the compound of sugar? Like, you want me to go on the
we're gonna keep this simple
periodic table and
complex in the mind, but no periodic tables tonight. We might do that a different day.
It's sweet, Jeff. It's sweet. Sugar's sweet.
Is it sweet in the morning?
Yes.
Is it sweet at night?
Yes.
If you're in India, is it sweet?
Absolutely.
If you're in China, is it sweet?
Yep.
Right here in America, it's sweet too, right?
Yes.
We can say that the very nature of sugar is sweetness.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Now, if we are looking for these things and objects, what's your favorite dessert?
Me?
We're gonna do a scientific experiment. We're gonna take one sample of an object or a thing in the outside world that makes us happy, and we are going to use that to test for the entire world. So what's one dessert that you like? Just one.
I'm so triggered right now, Jeff. You have no clue. There's so many. I'll just say ice cream.
Okay, so ice cream. A lot of people are going to agree with ice cream. But let's just say ice cream. Okay. So you get your favorite ice cream from the best place. The master chef put this ice cream together. It's the best tasting ice cream you had in your entire life. You get one bite. Okay, that's really good. 5 bites. Man, this is the best thing in the world. 25 bites. All right. 50 bites. Now you've eaten the whole darn gallon, right? Not just a quart. You're like all the way up to a gallon. One more bite can actually make you absolutely hate ice cream, right?
No, but it could make me sick.
Okay. So at what point do you stop? Or what if I brought 5-gallon bucket in? At some point, that source of joy and pleasure would turn into something that would be painful to do, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we can agree upon that at some point that turns into a painful thing.
Right.
Well, that means that the essence of that thing can't be happiness. If ice cream contained happiness, then I could give you ice cream at 2:00 in the morning and be like, wake up, ice cream. And you'd be all cheesing just like you are now. So we can see that it's not ice cream that brings us happiness.
Right.
It's something that reminds us of happiness.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you can't find happiness outside of you, by remainder, where do you have to find it?
Yeah, from within.
Within.
Mm-hmm.
And so how is it that people are able to find happiness in a place since their childhood was so destructive to them? I did. You know, I was beat up and left in a graveyard and called the N-word. I was always teased for being a mixed child. I had multiple abuse situations over that stuff as a child. I always had little disagreements with my parents because they didn't defend me the way that I expected. And was in constant conflict from the age of 11 on when I moved into South Jersey. Is very, very, I would say, socially segregated. And even though those experiences were torturous, and even my early adulthood years were torturous with some other things that I probably put myself into, when I learned about how to look within. Yeah. And that's a very complicated topic, and I can't cover that here, but it can be done. And that search to find who you are, once you know who you are for certain, no one can disrupt your happiness. Sorry, a long diatribe.
No, that was awesome. I don't have anything to add to that. So
I have them, but they're like an hour long. I want to keep going, but I can't.
Listen, no, I mean, that was amazing. I hope that answered the question for Ralph, but I have nothing to add. All right, let's go to Shalise. I think that my trust issue stems from my own feeling of not being maybe worthy.
Absolutely.
And I need help fixing that. I feel that I don't trust because if I were worthy of fidelity and love, the betrayal would never have happened.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's to stop it from happening again? Because I am truly unworthy. How do I fix this in me? It's not up to him to fix. It's up to me.
You've got a big step in the right direction. All right. So there's going to have to be a rebuild internally from the inside out. And that takes a little bit of practice and structure. It's not something that comes very, very easily. But if I can make a suggestion on a book, and if it's outside of your faith tradition, just throw out anything you don't agree with, okay? But it's the best book I've ever seen on the topic. It's called Inner Engineering by a man named Sadhguru. Buy that book and read it. It'll help you start your journey. I could do a 2-hour class that could help you get a little bit further, but I really can't do it in a soundbite. So I'm going to refer you to a book. Sadhguru, Sadhguru, and it's called Inner Engineering. All right.
Awesome.
What else do we have?
So I the only thing I have, I think, to contribute to that is just recognizing where your trust issue stems from is critically important, of course, but doing the work that you need to do to build your self-worth, to me, takes precedent even over the trust stuff, because part of the trust stuff is because you're having those issues of self-worth. So I think put all of your energy as much as you can into establishing that self-worth, because we are all worthy of love. We all deserve to be loved.
We are
So
love. At
yeah.
our very core, our essence is love. And we've
Yeah.
deviated from that. Let me tell you why you've gotten away from that. It's not just the infidelity. This came before the infidelity. The reason why
Right.
infidelity even happens, a lot of us are bringing baggage into the relationship that never gets dealt with. And sometimes, look, you have to realize that the average toddler is told no 400 times a day. A day.
Yeah.
Keisha, you know this.
Yes.
400 times no a day. Now, it's one thing to say no because the hand's going on the stove. No. But most of the no's that I've noticed just from being a parent and doing it myself and realizing it as I got older, should have stopped it earlier, is sometimes we say no because it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
That those no's psychologically put limitations on our belief and self-worth early on. Now, if you add to that any kind of abuse, any kind of unstable home, poverty, discrimination, any of these any kind of things in that realm, or any kind of traumatic events that may have happened from the young ages through the teen years, then what ends up happening is that self-worth gets locked away. But I want you to know there's a little child who still exists within you. And that little child is allowed to come out and play now. And the reason I say this is there was something when the whole world was telling them no. There was one verse in the Bible where the kids were playing at Jesus' feet and the parents were like, don't bother him, leave him alone. And he's like, suffer. Suffer means to, sa is underneath of, fair from Pharaoh's iron. Suffer be under the weight of. Let them just deal with the weight of letting them play around me. Suffer little children to come unto me and do not forbid them, because this is what the kingdom of heaven is like. So I want to challenge you to find that inner child and go back and talk to that inner child and look at some of the dreams of that inner child and revitalize those and start to explore again. Take some time for you and do some of the things that you always wanted to do. Yeah. Whether that was walking the Grand Canyon, walking in the park, doing things that you just don't normally do for yourself, and go get reinvigorated by the explorer inside of you. That will start a spark that will make you appreciate the true you. It'll help you find the beauty of you. Right now, most of us are living to build someone else's dream when we go to work. We're living to build stability for other people when we're at home being parents. And we have all these faces and masks we have to wear. I'm going to challenge you to drop those masks and try to look inside for a little while and just enjoy your inner child. And if that means you have to kind of be a little distant in a positive way for a little while, that's fine, as long as you let everybody know what you're doing. Okay?
Key, let everybody know what you're doing. Hey, so Danielle says, my husband told his affair partner his reason for straying was because I was never happy. Is she saying she was never happy or the husband was never happy?
Yeah, I think she's saying she was never happy. Danielle, you can help us, but we can handle that from both angles.
Okay, cool. So let's go from then him not being. No, I'll let you handle him. I'll handle her. So her not being happy. His reason for straying was because she was never happy. So that kind of alludes to the fact that maybe he felt like nothing he did was ever good enough and he couldn't please you.
Stop right there.
What?
That's it. See, she turned this into an I thing because she put the stars around it.
Right.
But really, it was a him feeling inadequate to please you kind of thing. That's what he would be saying. That may not be the only real reason, the underlying reason. But I hear men say this a lot. Not that they're going to stray because of it, but my wife is never happy. That is a common, cooler conversation between men across the planet.
But it's a cop out.
It is a cop out in one way, and it's a cop out, not a cop out in another, because you have people who are going through their own joy issues. My spouse was going through her own joy issues,
Okay,
and she
facts.
was never happy. I did not know, even when I was trying to communicate, how to make her happy. But the problem was also, I did not know how to be a man at the same time. It wasn't that I wasn't
Okay.
trying, it was that I didn't know.
Okay, but here's the question then. Whose responsibility is it to identify what it is that's needed in order for her
So
to be happy?
here's the deal. Responsibility is just your ability to respond. You
Okay.
either have it or you don't. I hear a lot of people say, I have too many responsibilities. That's an impossibility. You cannot have capability. But responsibility is just your ability to respond. How do you have too much ability to respond? You can't. There's a problem with capability. And when you think that you have too many responsibilities and it's really a capacity issue, that's actually an integrity issue. That's you not being honest with yourself or you not being honest with someone else.
I agree with that. But I'm saying I think that it is both parties' responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
It is my husband's job to do whatever he has to do to try to understand what it is that I need, want, desire, whatever, to be happy in a relationship. As equally, it is my responsibility to identify that myself and communicate that.
I actually went a whole different direction with it. So I worked on building the best version of me that I could be because I knew that that would overflow on other people. That if I was the best version of me that I could be, that I would be able to be supportive of anybody else and everyone else that was around me.
Okay.
And so I worked on me spiritually. I worked on me emotionally. I waited for the physical part. And I worked on me financially. And those three things, when three of them came together, things got much, much better. When all four quadrants, or what we call four securities, got together, things got on fire. And so when we take the time to work on us instead of going, you're doing this and he's doing that, it's let's get the mirror and do a mirror assessment first.
But
And
that
so,
is what I'm saying, no, Jeff.
yep, that's
I'm
exactly what you
saying
said.
that
I was
we
just,
both have responsibility, right?
yep.
So I have a responsibility to communicate what it is that I want and I need, and you have a responsibility to do your best to try to meet that. But we both, and I think we say this all the time, we both equally have to be working on ourselves individually, right? Because you're right, that will overflow into the relationship.
Yeah. It's really hard if I'm coming home happy every day, bringing flowers and doing this and cooking dinner and joking to not be laughing with me. It's just hard.
Right? Oh, this is for you.
Go ahead.
How do you convince your husband that childhood trauma is key?
Ouch. So I don't believe in dwelling with childhood trauma, but I do believe in working on childhood traumas and getting them out. It's really about dumping them and like getting all those emotions that have been pent up and hidden from the world out. How do you convince them that childhood trauma is key? This is tough with guys because we don't want to admit. We don't want to admit that the things that happen to us are affecting us now. We look at that as some like hoodoo voodoo psychiatry stuff. And it is a little bit, only in the regard that if we live too much in our past, but we don't have to, we have to realize what in our past is affecting us and what is making us say no to life.
Right.
And how do you convince them of that? I'm going to tell you right now, it's the same thing for a woman. You need to get men around positive men. The biggest problem that we have is our influences, who we hang around. If they're not, we're not going to be happy. If we want to have money, we hang around broke people, we're going to be broke. I guarantee it. It's just like if you hang around gamblers, you're going to start gambling. If you hang around drinkers, you're going to start drinking. If you hang around potheads, you're probably going to start smoking. If you hang around crackheads, you're going to do that too. You know, if the people you hang around influence you, I'm going to prove this to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. I used to work in a restaurant that played country music. I hate country music. But once in a while, still to this day, 20 years later, a song will come on, and I find myself humming and twanging right along with the song. And that's because it was embedded and beaten into my head every single day to the point where something I didn't like became something normal for me. And
Boom.
A lot of us need to change our environments.
In Hassani's words, boom.
Exactly.
How can the betrayed partner get unstuck, i.e., triggers of all kinds, hurt from the past, betrayal, and how can the unfaithful partner help in the process?
Okay, so this all deals with being able to trust again, being able to believe again. And I did this whole little walkthrough the other day, and not everybody that I see Cali Couple was in here. Belief, then faith, then trust, then knowledge. Once you know something to be true, you're not worried about it anymore. Okay. So when I go to want to cook something, want to make a recipe, I believe I can make it. So I start reading all the information that makes me believe more. And then I go buy the ingredients. That's an act of faith. I'm taking an action towards the fact that I can make this thing. All right, we're going to take a chance. And then when I begin cooking it and it comes out okay once, I start to trust the process a little more. And then if I do it a couple times, that's trust. And then once everybody else is giving me feedback that it's working out great, that's knowledge. Guess what I'm not worried about anymore? Can I make this dish? I don't need belief anymore. So what I would suggest that you do to get unstuck is create a list. Each of you should create a list of the things you want to believe to be true. In order for your marriage to work, these are the things I need to believe about my husband. These are the things I need to believe about my wife for this marriage to work. Then what you're going to do is come up with the ones that you can deal with right now, the easiest ones to knock down and check off the list so you can build some confidence. And this is going to be a test of faith. So you're going to choose one or two things to incrementally go, you know what? I'm going to just trust him. I'm going to give him a little faith on this, and we're going to work on this one thing. Then once he shows and proves a few times, you can check the trust block. And then when he's been consistent for a year or more, then you can do the trust. But every time you get to the trust part, where you've taken the act of faith and moved into the ability to trust a little bit more, then go work on another item. So create that list and create it for a year and watch as your relationship grows. And you'll be less and less and less triggered because trust is being restored and is done through a process. I came up with that last week.
Hey, so the unfaithful partner can help in the process by being consistent.
Absolutely.
Showing up, being
explain
consistent.
The process. I'm going to give you a shot. Here's the things I want to believe to be true. So when you tell the unfaithful partner that you're doing this process together to restore trust, if they play ball, that's how they can help.
Yeah.
Because now they have a guideline now, right?
Yep. Show up, be consistent, keep your word.
Kathy,
don't cheat again.
Kathy, I don't have any ice cream for you, but I heard DoorDash is still open. I don't know where you live. Oh, I think Virginia. Yeah.
Hey, Kathy. Hey, so we got literally like 2 minutes left, and there's like so many more questions, and I know we're not gonna get to all of them tonight.
Okay, let's get one more in.
All righty. I'm trying to think of something that we can kind of address. Let's see. Nina, she says, how can I get my husband to look at me when we talk? TV and social media is an issue. I mean, his head is cute, but I love his eyes more. I have told him I love his eyes, and it's like it bothered him to look at me. I don't know why he's not giving you eye contact, but I see that as a sign of disrespect.
It also could be if it's always been this way, or if there's been an unfaithful situation, it may be shame. It could be guilt. If there's been childhood trauma and he's always been this way, it may be that he just never learned to look a person in the eyes and be sincere. I mean, you're really gonna have to give us a little more information on that one the next time we come back. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it could be so many different things. It really, really could. But she's saying that TV and social media are an issue. So it sounds like he's distracted when they're talking. He's not giving her his undivided attention.
Yeah, that distance that can get created sometimes will get in the way. Yeah, it's got to be both partners willing to work, and like one of the things I would try to do is get them to watch one of the shows, and I don't know what the concerns are in the marriage beyond the closeness, and there's a lot of things that can be done for that. We're probably going to cover that in a morning show on how to rebuild that bond,
Yeah.
not just after infidelity, but just period, like when you just end up apart. It happens. Like that happened in my marriage. And it wasn't until one of us decided to become an adventure, and I literally forced her to come along with me. I found something that she always wanted to do, and I paid attention to that. And I literally built everything around what she wanted to do at first, and then she was willing to play with me on what I wanted to do as well. So somebody's going to have to make a sacrifice on that point to start the ball rolling, and I was more than willing to do it. So. It looks like we are out of time, people. I don't know if 30 minutes is enough. It felt like 5 to me. But I want to thank you guys for coming again. I was reminded that I need to play the Spanish-speaking commercial that my wife is in, because they want to let you know that we speak Spanish, and we can help Spanish couples. And we have a couple teams now doing that. So, and then I'm going to play our outro. But I want to thank you all for coming. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Last chance weekend. I don't know how many slots there are left, but I know there's several that have already gone. So let's just make sure you get on that. If you plan on getting on that, at least get on the call with Asani and let them know your plans, that you're planning on going. And then anybody who's in crisis or needs help, like, reach out. We have a free call available. I want to thank you guys for coming out, and I want to thank Keisha for being on the show with me tonight, because I hate doing it alone.
Yeah, I love being here. So glad to see you guys, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow in the morning.
All right. Take care, guys. Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.